Okay, let's be real here. You've clicked this video because you want my 2 cents on that incident in Baku, right? Be honest, we all like a spicy hot take here and there, so here it is. Max Verstappen was nearly 100% to blame for that incident. He probably would have had some benefit of the doubt there if it wasn't already a big part of his reputation to either make double defensive moves or weave on straights or under braking. However, there's an element in this that I think has been largely ignored, and that's Red Bull itself as a team. Baku to me felt like the coup de grace on a driver combination that looks fantastic on paper, but their very tendencies as a team and structure has generated this toxic working environment. Now, I bet you think I'm wearing a tinfoil hat as I read this, but hear me out here. Outside of Mercedes' return in 2010, Red Bull has been the newest juggernaut team in Formula 1. They stopped being the party animals of the grid and rapidly improved towards the end of the noughties. They built a massive infrastructure to churn out drivers in the same style as their energy drinks. Now, I've talked about Red Bull as a team before in the Kvyat episode in 2016, but the rise of Max Verstappen has only accelerated this effect. Red Bull now exclusively work through their own academy. Webber's treatment as an outsider during his career was problematic at best. We've talked about some of the previous victims of the Toro Rosso development program before. Buemi, Verne, Alguersuari, Speed, Bourdais and Daniil Kvyat, who had the perfect alibi to be swapped out after Sochi and the perfect response from Max winning his Red Bull debut. Carlos Sainz last year looked like a deer in the headlights purely because Red Bull for the first time had 3 drivers who were probably in the top 8 on ability pound for pound. But sit down and think up for a minute about what kind of culture that can breed and create, especially if you're a driver. Let me tell you what I mean. Every major team in F1 hoards talent now, but in Red Bull's academy it goes further. Because you have a second team, and the only outlet realistically is a full factory seat, it puts extra pressure on the driver to succeed immediately. And not every youth product is a Sebastian Vettel. I feel for Pierre Gasly in particular. Where the hell is your career going to go if Red Bull have 2 incredibly fast, relatively young, competitive drivers right now? You have to take the metaphorical and literal bull by the horns. It's clear Red Bull feeds off this bravado and aggression. Sebastian Vettel went out of his way to prove he could overtake people. Max Verstappen took headlines on track just as fast as he did off of it. And Daniel Ricciardo is the poster boy for the dive bomb. Baku was proof having 2 of those sorts of drivers can result in dangerous consequences, just like when Vettel was still a little rough around the edges in 2010. Why do you think Daniel Ricciardo is the driver he is? Because he's not an idiot. He's seen his team change relentlessly around him. He knows the moment he has a bad run of form, he's got an entire academy gunning for his job. So he has to go for it, and for the most part, he succeeded in that. Even with a car that's not competitive enough for the ultimate prize. Kvyat again was proof that they'll drop you mid-season if you don't deliver. That shit is unprecedented in modern day F1. The only exception is Max. He debuted at 16, had a bunch of people blow smoke up his arse, and now without the nuance of what truly makes a top tier driver great, his mistakes are that much more exposed. It's the story of his 2018 season so far, major screw-ups at every single race so far, and testing the patience of even his most dedicated fans. Remember, this is a kid the media was making Ayrton Senna comparisons with as little as 3 races into his young career. Chucking every young talent worth a damn in at the deep end isn't guaranteed to work. And because of the aforementioned talent whose careers have been butchered to get to this point, it's hard to feel sorry for them. They're no closer to winning a world title in year 5 of the hybrid era since 2013, and they've had 4 different names in each of their teams since. Red Bull Racing are an incredible team, and they've had remarkable achievements in their relatively short history. But as long as they're just as cold and as ruthless as they are often great, we will keep getting incidents like Baku. It's no coincidence their car is purple, because this team very often can be toxic. And if you haven't already, please follow and check out Elizabeth Worth, whose thread during the Baku race weekend was definitely the reason why this video ended up being made. She writes over at Jalopnik, she's been on our podcast before, and she's probably the best motorsport writer you've never heard of. Thanks for watching.